Going on, Falcon fan? Your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. And yes, the Atlanta Falcons have made a trade. Terry Fontenot finally gets him a pass rusher that he's been trying to get for like the last 2 seasons. And guess what, guys? He finally made a trade today. We're going to dive into it. What that mean about our salary cap and how this can change, what we think about this Atlanta Falcons team this season. So, guys, with that being said, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you know I drop a video. Please hit the like button, as I know you guys are here to talk about. And please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in here and talk about. That's right, these Atlanta Falcons. So, guys, let's get right into the news today. The Atlanta Falcons make a trade for Matthew Judon from the New England Patriots. We know that they was in contract disputes. We actually even seen, the head coach and Matthew Judon had words on the field when he was out there, not practicing and things like that. So obviously, the Atlanta Falcons, I assume, plan to make a contract extension with Matthew Judon. He is going into his 9th season. He spent 5 seasons with the Baltimore Ravens, and then the last 3 seasons with the New England Patriots. His 2021 and 22 seasons, he had over 15 sacks in both of those seasons, or over at least 12 sacks in both of those. I think 113, 115. Last season, he only had 4 sacks. I think he might have had to be injured out. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But Matthew Judon is definitely a pass rusher that the Atlanta Falcons need. Guys, Terry Fontenot been pretty much just trying to make a trade since last year. Remember, he tried to go get Montez Sweat from the Chicago Bears, but before the Chicago Bears snatched him up from the Commanders, they wanted a second round pick, but Terry Fontenot willing to go for that second round pick. Even though you think about it, he probably should, because the way he drafting his second round picks is not kind of panning out now. So maybe he could have went on and made that trade. They tried to go for Danielle Hunter in free agency, and they lost out to him to the Houston Texans. It was reported they tried to move back up in the draft after they had drafted Michael Penix to try to go get Latu as well. So the Atlanta Falcons understand that they do need pass rush. I talked about this numerous of times, that the pressures that the Atlanta Falcons was providing from a team standpoint is one of some of the lowest pressures in the league, when you have some guys, almost having that number of pressures just by themselves, and that's just one individual for certain teams. You look at a guy like Nick Bosa from the San Francisco 49ers. You look at a guy like Michael Parsons from the Dallas Cowboys. But both of those guys had over 100 sacks. And guess what? Matthew Judon in his last, 3 seasons is right behind those two guys as far as getting pressure on the quarterback. So believe me when I tell you this is an upgrade for the Atlanta Falcons. Now he is 31-year-old, so he's on the back end of his career. I do understand that. So it will be interesting to see what kind of contract that the Atlanta Falcons end up giving Matthew Judon. And I anticipate them probably getting him an extension. Because you won't really make this trade when you are already dealing with a guy who's on a contract dispute with his other team. He had a $14 million cap hit with the New England Patriots. Not sure how that's going to affect in coming back over with the Atlanta Falcons. But now we know for a fact the Atlanta Falcons will have to do something with their cap now. And what I mean by that, either go out and go ahead and extend AJ Terrell like we anticipate them to do. Like I mentioned on yesterday's or Monday's podcast, they can actually either go with a guy like Chris Lindstrom or Jesse Bates III, right? Because we know those guys are mainstays here. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. So you can actually, restructure their contracts and get more money that way as well. If they want to, do something, they could do something with a guy like Jay Matthews or so on and so forth. But for the most part, guys, we know that Atlanta Falcons definitely probably have to do something with their cap now. But this is one of the holes that we had questions for the Atlanta Falcons, is getting a guy like Matthew Judon, a guy that, like I said, over the last 3 seasons, he's right behind some of the guys that produced the most pressures on a quarterback in this league. Guys like Nick Bosa, guys like Michael Parsons, and Matthew Judon sits right behind some of those guys. So you love this for this team. I think he fit this defense that Jimmy Lake and Raheem Morris going to be running very well. He's going to bring that nastiness because, being in the AFC North, playing with the Patriots, he's going to bring that nastiness to him, something that this Atlanta Falcons team need. So I love this pick up by Terry Fontenot. We still got one more nugget out there. If he can make that happen, man, this right here would be a home run. I think Terry, we can consider him betting 100 if he can pull off, bringing in a guy like Justin Simmons. But I'm going to tell you right now, guys, this is what we're talking about. When I talk about on Monday, you go out and get a guy like Kirk Cousins. Raheem Morris said we're on the quarterback away. The owner and Rich McKay, both of those guys saying that this team is real close. So they just needed that quarterback. We got the quarterback in tow, right? We even doubled down on quarterback. So quarterback is not an issue anymore for this team. And now all the Atlanta Falcons need to do is put together a good, solid defense, right? That's the sentiment, around this team. If we can put together a good, solid defense, this team can go a long way. And bringing in a guy like Matthew Judon, I believe, is going to do that. Yes, like I said, again, a guy like Montez Sweat would have been better, who's a little bit younger, but getting Matthew Judon, who has 369 tackles through his career, 66 and a half sacks, in these 8 seasons that he has played so far, is really impressive. But it's not just about the sacks; it's about putting that pressure on that quarterback, and that's something that Matthew Judon does really, really well. So I love it. I really love this. This for the Atlanta Falcons. And now, let Terry cook. That's the whole thing going around right now. And once again, let Terry cook. Let's get into some of the comments. Let's go. Raheem said, "Why not us?" That's right. Right. Just got to get to the tournament, man. Get to the playoffs. Get to the playoffs. You go back into some of the greatest Super Bowl runs in the past, decade alone. You look at the Eli Manning Super Bowls where there was the 6th seed, right? And they ran on a run, and both times they beat the New England Patriots. One time was the 15-0 New England Patriots, right? You look at what Joe Flacco was able to do on his Super Bowl run that he had with the Baltimore Ravens, right? You have to just go out and you got to play good, clean football, no mistakes. And when you get in that tournament, you don't know what could happen. So that's the kind of potential that we're trying to see, right? Yes, the Atlanta Falcons, not a betting favorite probably to be one of the to win the Super Bowl this year. But if you get in the playoffs, right, and we can host a playoff game and get on a run, and then just say, a team like the Green Bay Packers do what they did to the Dallas Cowboys, and we end up hosting the NFC Championship game, at home as well. You just never know, guys. All these things are possibility. You got to get to the tournament, and bringing in a guy like Matthew Judon, it does not hurt that at all, right? We knew the Atlanta Falcons will have to do something. Not expecting a rookie like Braylon Trice to actually, come out and be a difference maker right away. But he was running with the ones. It was something that we was looking forward to see, what kind of contribution he was going to actually be able to bring to the team this year. But, I think, by playing a guy like Irma Ebiketie so many snaps, I don't think they really know what they got in Irma Ebiketie. They feel like a guy like Lorenzo Carter, is more of a run stopper. They feel like a guy like James Smith-Williams, a more run stopper. We don't know we had in a guy like D'Angelo Malone, so they had to do something. And they've been in training camp. This is the 3rd week of training camp, so they know what they got now. And I think pulling the trigger on this was really smart, and I love it very much. Let's see what you got here. Remember the phase. Why not us? I'm printing tees now. Falcons aren't playing around. That's right, man. Go out and get that. He said Judon want a bigger contract time now. Yes, they will have to pay him. We just need to figure out how much. I'm pretty sure they already had those conversations. They had to have it if they decide to make the trade. You probably be hearing some kind of agreement here. Like I said, they gonna have to do something with their cap now though, because Atlanta Falcons only had $3,553,000 in cap space, and that was of Monday, right? So, like I said, the easy things to do is go ahead and sign our number one corner, AJ Terrell, Chris Lindstrom, no guy who's going to be here a while, and a guy like Jesse Bates. If they can just do those 3 guys, they can clear from cap space to bring in a guy like Matthew Judon and get him, his contract that he needs. That's really going to be good. 80 saying 97, 98. Man, this is the Falcons, not the Cowboys. That's the Cowboys record. What's up, Ricondo? Thanks for the content. We're division champs and playoff bound. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the confidence. I really do. I really do. Let's see. Eddie says packages where players are key. I do agree with that as well. The Atlanta Falcons been running this like 5-2 like front they've been running. So they had like one linebacker in the middle, and they got everybody up on the line, and then now the quarterback has to figure out who's coming, right? So they've been running that scheme. Go back and look at the Rams. They did it a little bit with the Rams last year, so it's nothing brand new, but it's something new to the Falcons because the Falcons never ran a scheme like that. In kind of fronts they having like that 5-2 and things like that. So, to what Eddie was talking about, the packages that the Atlanta Falcons can put, on the field. It was reported they had a guy like Braylon Darlis playing in, right? He's going to get an opportunity to do that, but you can actually bring in, what I like to call when you bring like on passing downs, a NASCAR packet, right? I think you would keep David and Grady in because their ability to rush the passer in the middle, but you put a guy like Judon, you put Ebiketie out there, and maybe Zach Harrison, somebody like that. You bring in Caden Ellis, a guy who has pass rush ability. This is different kind of packages they can put together. I think it'll really be good. Like he says, he still only accounts for $6.8 million this season, no matter what the contract gets. That's 100% right. That's right. So they don't have to clear up that much cap space. I agree with you on that. No, Cowboys are not going to win many. Yeah. They can't even get their players signed, man. They can't even get their players signed until others fully develop for future years. These songs say 11 and 6. You know what? Honestly, guys, I have not did the predictions yet, and I want to wait. I know I usually do it when the schedule first comes out, but I wanted to wait this year because I wanted to see the team first. But lo and behold, I will have a show where I do the Falcons prediction. So I'm going to do it this year. It's going to be before the season start. Also, look out for the 53-man roster breakdown as well. I'm definitely going to be doing that. So, I did initial 53-man roster earlier a while back here, but looking at the way this preseason going, looking at some of the things we've been hearing for training camp, I will go ahead and break those out. So be on the lookout for those. So guys, the question is, so looking at this and looking at the addition of Matthew Judon, what's next for Atlanta Falcons? I talked about it on Monday, and it was reported that Justin Simmons He came for a visit, but he left without a contract. Right. That does not mean he's not going to sign, but we don't know. Obviously, he has to think it over, or maybe the agreement that they had um, just not where we wanted it to be. So we do not know, the status right now of what Justin Simmons was looking for. Did he not like what he heard from the coaching staff? You know, from Terry and Raheem and things like that. We just have to wait to see. He's gonna end up with some team. Hopefully, it's not our other team that he visited. Was the New Orleans Aints. We do not want him to go down that way. But either way, it'd be his regret if he does decide to do that, because we're gonna be ready to deal with that as well. So, but you know, if the Falcons can, this really will be a great offseason. I'm just going to say it right now. If the Falcons can somehow, you know, pull off bringing in Justin Simmons and along with this trade with Matthew Judon, it'll be a great offseason, right? Going out and solidifying the quarterback position, not for just this year, but for years to come. We feel with Michael Penix Jr., um, looking at the skill set players we got, these three top 10 picks finally get to showcase their skill set. Kyle Pitts coming back 100% healthy. Drake London looking good. If you then look at the clips today from um, the practice, it looked like they aired it out today, and Kirk Cousins looked like he was feeling it a little bit. He hit Drake on a couple deep passes, hit Kyle on a deep pass, hit Darnell Mooney on a deep pass, even hit Charlie Warner on a deep pass over Jesse Bates for a touchdown. So offense was humming today. We like to hear things like that. And maybe, after the day, they decided, look, man, we got to go get somebody to put some pressure on this quarterback, because this Kirk Cousins is just looking too good out there. So you like to hear things like that from practice, um, and you like to see the the potential of the skills players that was drafted in the top 10 start to finally get showcased, right? I think it's safe to say that Drake London will finally go over the 1,000 mark, um, 1,000 yards mark this season in receiving yards. I think Kyle Pitts can get back to where he was his first season, where he went over 1,000 yards. Um, and then I think Bijan is going to be a little bit more featured in the running game. And not saying that Tyler Jill does not deserve it, but Bijan is a home run waiting to happen when he get the ball in his hands. So I think this offensive skill set scheme that Jack Robinson has brought to the Atlanta Falcons fits those skill players a little bit more, right? What I didn't understand is the fact that you had a guy like Kyle Pitts and you could not find the mismatches. I mean, you look at, what the Detroit tight end last year, where he was so able to be open all the time. And then you look at the scheme where Arthur Smith, it seemed like it was trying to pull teeth to get Kyle Pitts open. I just didn't understand it. The guy runs a 4.4, 6'6", wingspan is out this world. Why he cannot get the rock? It just didn't make sense. And all off season, all we've seen is the connection between Kirk Cousins and Kyle Pitts, the connection between Kirk Cousins and Drake London, the connection between Kirk Cousins and Darnell Mooney. So, sky's the limit for this team. Once again, I love the addition of Matthew Judon. Let's see. Eddie says, EQ dreaming. You the one dreaming, just like every year. Let's just hope and pray it is a season to watch. Things over will be the things over there will be bad if it doesn't come down. You talking about your Cowboys, man. Insider has it he's not with is what it offered the contract wise. Okay. Okay. Simmons will take a small cut to get back to his home area. Commanders, Raven, or Patriots. Sure. Sure. He says quarterback will make a difference for those Georgia Falcons. 100%. We already said that. I mean, we don't have to rehash last season, but if you that Carolina game where Desmond Ritter just gave the ball away in the red zone to the Carolina Panthers, that's a win. The Minnesota game where we let Josh Dobbs, after being there for 5 days, come in and beat us. That should have been a win, right? We had him on fourth down. We just get the sack there, had him in the grass. We win that game. And then Arizona Cardinals game, right? We let Kyler Murray, his first game back of the season, and he ran 70 yards backwards, and then to get 12 yards, just ridiculous. All those plays, shouldn't have happened in the game, and we couldn't score no points in those games. The reason why we lost in the first place. So that'll put us at 10-7. If you just give us those 3 games back, that put the Atlanta Falcons at 10-7 last year with Desmond Ritter and Taylor Heineke. So the fact that if we just get a good quarterback play, consistent quarterback play, and I think we will definitely do that this season with a guy like Kirk Cousins. The Atlanta Falcons have a great opportunity to do some great things this year. They're gonna say they're a hater, not them damn cowgirls. Yeah, man. Yes, everybody. Just as everybody know, Eddie Williams. You see him in the chat. He's a Cowboy fan, and I'm definitely, you guys tune in when we play the Cowboys in the season. I will invite Eddie on the show where we can actually break down the Falcons Cowboys. By that time in the season, we'll actually know what each team looks like and where everybody's at, and then we can really talk about it. Right now, we going after what we think gonna happen based off last season, looking at the roster and things like that. We really don't have a clue, right? It's all a guess. We think we know what's gonna happen this season, but we don't know yet. Everybody think the best teams that they put up there they might suck, right? It's the NFL, guys. Everybody is pros. Everybody's just not college where you have the Vanderbilts and the little teams that they bring in to beat in for homecoming and stuff like that. No, this is the NFL. So any given Sunday, that's the real deal. So you can look at the records from last year and all that crap. That does not matter. They got a quarterback on their team. They have an opportunity to be a good team, right? Get a quarterback that's consistent, does not turn the ball over, in good solid running game. Things you never know in NFL. So we don't know what's going to happen this year. But when the Cowboys play the Falcons, Eddie will be on, and we're gonna get to it. And he might be down and out by then because the Cowboys might be, already out of the playoff hunt by then. So we'll see. He said he's a Falcon fan. You're not a Falcon fan, dude. We know who you are. Michael said Judon and Simmons still to Atlanta too. Yeah, Simmons come, man. That, like I said, he batting 1,000 right now. I mean, Racondo is a closet American. Okay. Whatever, dude. Whatever, man. I don't think we're done. They had a book of Visit Simmons, knowing that the riff with Judon and the Pats. Yeah, I hope we're not done. Hopefully, we might hear it before we. It'll be cool. It'll be cool, guys, if we hear it before we get off the air. Before I get off the podcast night, that'll be something special, man. We can call it right there. It will be Murderers Row. Murderous November 3rd. Okay. We'll see. We will see. He says, Junior looked very good to me. He made quick decisions and made the throw. You talking about Penix? Yes. Michael Penix looked really good. He the future looks good. And what I like about Michael Penix, is that he does not have to play this year. It's the fact that he has the opportunity to sit behind Kirk Cousins and learn, right? I mean, you can see some of the rookie mistakes that he had. Like I said, he even admitted that he turned the wrong way on the play, but he still made a play out of it. He got the ball off and got a first down, but he turned the wrong way. He even admitted that, right? So some things gonna happen as a rookie, but if you just listen to um, Kirk Cousins interviews that he give and how much football he have played, and just talking about the different cadences and talking about just the different looks of defenses, and you know like he mentioned today, getting the teams into the right running plays and getting them out of bad plays, doing audibles and things like that, getting in the right protections, things that young quarterback has to learn, especially in NFL. It's so just sitting behind a guy like Kirk Cousins and watching him play. I think it's going to be huge for Michael Penix Jr. I know he want to get on the field. Nobody wanted to sit back there, but you know this is he can look at this as a red shirt season for him. I think next season is going to be really interesting, especially depends on how well Kirk Cousins play or not. Um, but the Atlanta Falcons do have 2 years guaranteed for Kirk Cousins, so I expect him to roll 2 years with us. But this year is going to be the tell all about that, how well we play, how deep we'll be able to take this team and things like that. So you know that's going to be huge. Namar says, is recent hire like Hillard a good wide receiver coach? Yes, he is. I can tell you this, you know, go look at I hear how he played, how physical he was as a player. Um, and you need guys like that. He wasn't the mega superstar wide receiver, which in my opinion, those guys make the best coaches anyway, because they playing in the lead a long time. They had to be technical, they had to be sound, be able to stay in the lead long. And yes, I believe Ike Hilliard is going to be a great coach, guy who already coached with Raheem Morris, um, Buddy, Mike Tomlin out there at Pittsburgh. So um, yes, I do believe it's a good hire. And the interesting thing about our wide receiver room, it's like a mix of different type of receivers that we got. You got a guy like Drake, who's big body, physical. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that. But let's get back into some more of these comments here. Um, that average 2 interceptions a game. Yeah, but they still got to pay that, or they're gonna be really bad. He said Ike's a good teacher. He is. Uh, yep. So I need you to come in for a visit. we definitely gonna talk to you, man. That Dallas Cowboys week. So be ready for that. How good is TJ Yates at a quarterback coach? Well, we definitely gonna find out how good he is. They had him at wide receiver coach last year, which I don't understand that at all. But TJ Yates played a lot of years in the NFL. Um, so I'm pretty sure he understands the fundamentals as a quarterback coach. What you really want to do is make these guys understand the mechanics, the footwork, and things like that. Help them with their being balanced. I just heard Brian Baldinger on the NFL Insiders talking about Michael Penix's footwork. He was throwing the ball, but he was really just using arm, right? You got to be able to have good footwork. If you notice when you watch a guy like Peyton Manning when he played, how he bounced on his tippy toes to get that balance before he threw the rock. You saw how well Tom Brady, stance was when he threw the ball. Guys like that. Now it's some guys like a Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. They just got the complete arm talent, and it seems like Michael Penix has that arm talent like that as well. Guy has a rocket on him, so those guys can make those off schedule throws. When they're off balance like that. But the better your mechanics are, the more accurate you can be with the ball. We did see a couple passes, get away from Michael Penix and sell the, and all that's fixable mechanics and things like that. It wasn't something that he did a lot, miscues in college. So I think it's real simple for him to fix those things, his mechanics, and just getting sped up a little bit in the pocket. Even though we have to tip our hat off to that second string offensive line because they actually held up pretty well for Michael Penix, where he had a good clean pocket. So Eddie says it wasn't about how he played. He coached, educated better during his tenure. Uh, must be a thunderstorm or something. Let's see. Roddy White would make a great wide receiver coach. He taught Jones a thing or two. Yeah, Roddy, man, just to be honest, people don't know how physical Roddy White was, right? We all know he wrestled in college. Um, but he was a dog, man. And it's hard to find those dogs. You know, Roddy White was a guy that he was great in the run game as well. When he came up and hit guys, those linebackers or those outside linebackers and things like that, or those crack blocks, which probably is legal nowadays. But some of how physical Roddy White was in the running game, and then as a receiver, he was really physical as well. And I agree, he really taught Julio how to, take his game to the next level. So, that's why Roddy White is in our ring of honor right now. One of the best Atlanta Falcons receivers, to ever play the lace up, cleats for the Falcons. Um, there are players like Yates who are better coaching as they were players. 100%, I agree with that. Because Yates never was going to be a superstar quarterback, but you're right. Some people can teach the game way better than they can play it. He said Ryder can't articulate too well. Whatever. He can show how much do you like the offensive coordinator Zach Robinson. Um, well, the jury's still out on him, first of all. But for what I've seen so far, I like the scheme a lot. One thing in particular that I like about it is the fact that Kirk Cousins is already familiar with it, and then it's off the Shanahan tree, right? And if you just want to be honest with you, we seen it at its highest level in 2016 with Matty Ice when he won the NFL MVP, right? Um, 38 touchdowns to 13 different receivers. Um, you know, Telvin Coleman, Devontae Freeman, the run game. I mean, go back and look at that 2016 seasons and how we just embarrassed teams in our division that year. Go back and see how we embarrassed the Saints. We embarrassed the Saints in that season. It was just something to behold. So Zach Robinson is jury still out. He's a first time offensive coordinator. I thought he called the game well in preseason, even though he's just calling vanilla plays. He's not showing anything. It's no thought process, no scheme. just, calling the regular sweep, calling the regular, um, dive inside or whatever, you know, calling the regular dig, go route. He's not calling anything that going to show, potential game plan or anything like that. So it's hard to tell right now, but he did get some opportunities last year with the Rams of calling games as well. So he has experience, a little experience of calling games, but it's going to be interesting to see once he put a game plan in, you know, in his entirety by himself, and to see how he fares. So you can't, right now say either way he's going to be good or bad. But I do like the scheme. I like the fact that Kirk Cousins already know the scheme, and he can help, his offensive lineman, he help his receivers, his running back, everybody, speed up the process to learn the offense as well. So that's going to be huge. Um, but Broderick was a true athlete for sure, 100%. Zach is going to be a rising future head coach. I can see that. I mean, this is a guy. If you don't know the background by Zach Robinson, he was a pretty good college quarterback himself. He was an athlete, right? He ran the ball a lot. Pretty good college quarterback. Sometimes those guys don't translate to the NFL, but he had a couple stints in NFL trying to make teams and things like that. But I think where he really shined, where he went when he went to Pro Football Focus and helped grade quarterbacks and things like that, and players around the league. And he actually coached a couple quarterbacks, get ready for the NFL Combine as well. So, and if you go back and look at some of his interviews and look at what he said about particular quarterbacks in college and how it translated to what he was saying to how they doing in the NFL, it's kind of spot on. So I think he knows how to look at quarterbacks and know if they're going to be good or bad. Um, and which is that's good when you're in a coach, because you want to be able to put your players in the best position to be successful. And Raheem Morris was right on, right? He knew that a guy like Zach Robinson had potential to be a future star. And just look at the Shanahan tree right now. It's just ridiculous. And I'm talking about Mike Shanahan, of course, but it's still branched off from Kyle. You got down in Miami, you got Minnesota, you got Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, you got Zach Robinson in Atlanta. I mean, it's just all over the place. You can see, and all the offenses are really good too. So, look at what Matt LaFleur is doing. Look at what Mike McDaniel's doing with Tua. Um, Look at what Connell did with Kirk Cousins last year, and I think Sam Darnold might have one of his best seasons. So, um, and believe it or not, Sam Darnold played in the same offense last year with the San Francisco 49ers. So it's going to be easy for him to transition as well. So right now, it's one of the good systems out there. All of them do it a little different. I mean, they have to, because they got different skill set of players, different types of quarterbacks. San Francisco got you know Mr. Irrelevant himself, right? And they're not going to put too much on his plate, but Brock Purdy is know how to run the offense to a T. You got to give him his props on that. And then, like I said, you got Tua Tagovailoa down in Miami. The skill set of those players, he got them with speed burners. The run game with Mostert. Those guys are just a track team, on offense, right? And then you got Minnesota, where you have, they got a new quarterback, but you got Justin Jefferson, probably one of the best receivers in the league, right? And then you go to Green Bay, Jordan Love and his young talent receiver core that he got. They just brought in Josh Jacobs, and then you got Atlanta. So it's different, scheme, but different skill sets of players. We got a freaking 6'6" tight end who runs a 4.4. That's probably mismatched on everybody. 6'5" receiver. Then you got a Darnell Mooney who ran a 4.3. You got Ray Ray McLeod. Then you got two excellent running backs in the backfield, one of the best offensive lines in the league. So, um, sky's the limit for this offense. He said, what grade would you give Penix for his performance against Miami? I give him a B. Like I said, he probably won a couple passes back, but he kind of solidified the ideal of Atlanta Falcons drafting him and saying that he can be the future. So, and that's all he really wanted from Michael Penix. He was going out there with the second string guys, making plays, and he did that. So, and then the contrast to that, when Taylor Heineke got in the game, a guy who's been in the league 6-7 years and just shit the bed. So that just tells you right there what I think about his performance. Um, they are from the same spectrum with NFL. Yes, they are. Um, do you think Carolina win more than 5 games this season? And that's what I meant. That's what I was talking about earlier. I don't know. Um, we have to see how the quarterback plays this year. You know, he had a tough season. He just did. His offensive line, they didn't put a good offensive line around him. He got sacked a lot, got hit a lot. So it's going to be really interesting for Young. The problem I have is that they changed. He got a new offensive coordinator, and so they need to make sure they keep this guy in the same offense where he can learn, because changing coordinators year after year. That's what happened to a guy like Justin Fields. Just keep changing coordinators after year, you don't never get in the rhythm. I mean, his head coach is the coordinator this time, so maybe they could, build something together. But I don't know. We'll just have to see. Um, I still don't think they're gonna be that good. Um, but their defense is really good. Now, I can tell you, Carolina defense is still one of the best defense, especially that front seven. It is so good, and you know that's what keeps them in a lot of games. It's good, Anthony. What you got? We finally got a decent pass rusher with the help we got on D line. We could be even better finally. I agree 100%. And you gotta like the vision here. So they triple down on the defensive front, in the draft, right? And then we already got two all world um, defensive tackles in David Amiyad and Grady Jarrett. Um, and then you bring in all the youth to create the depth. Um, you think that a guy like Zach Harrison is going to be able to have that year one to year two jump. Hopefully he does. So those are all the things that you can anticipate, from this team moving forward. You gotta love it. You got to love it. You got to love it. So guys, thank you guys for tuning in today to the show. Like I said, it was an impromptu show. We had to get it in. I had to talk about Matthew Judon. So let's just close it out. I'm going to say it again. The Atlanta Falcons trade for Matthew Judon for 2025 third round pick. A guy who's coming in, played 8 seasons in the NFL, 5 seasons with the Baltimore Ravens, 3 seasons with the New England Patriots. He has a total of 66 and a half sacks. Um, like I said, he is on a little older age of 31, but I still think this is definitely an upgrade for Atlanta Falcons. It goes to show that the Atlanta Falcons do believe they have the kind of team that can compete this year. You would not make a trade like this if you did not think so. And kudos to Terry. He finally was able to solidify a decent, well-known pass rusher. Not for not trying. We do know that he has been making the effort. We missed out on Montez Sweat. We missed out on Daniel Hunter. We missed out on trying to come back up to get a guy like Locke. So the Atlanta Falcons did put in the effort. And today they finally was able to seal the deal. So Welcome to Atlanta, Matthew Judon. Hope you come in and bring some of that, you know, that tenacity that you've shown in your 8 seasons so far, and help this Atlanta Falcons teams get to new and higher heights that we probably have gotten in a long time. So, guys, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in today to this impromptu podcast, and be on the lookout, like I said, for the prediction show that I will make for the Atlanta Falcons, which is probably coming up a little late, but still, I need to see the team. I got a better idea of what this team is gonna be like, a little bit, because I really still don't know. But I will do a prediction show on that, and then look off my 53-man roster projections probably after the um the next preseason game. So before the last preseason game, it'll probably be sometime, maybe next week. Look out for that. And then last thing but not least, guys, is we're going to start doing our getting ready for the season. Talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's getting close. We almost there. I know you guys can't wait, just like I can't wait. And that's all I have today. This is your boy Ricondo coming back at you with another video. Peace.